Yo, imagine being in a relationship with somebody, man, and you really fell in love with them and they did the unthinkable to you, right? So this story right here we're gonna get into, this is about a pastor, almost $3 million, and this lady right here. And he did the unthinkable that she could never get back. So I want y'all to check this out because this is crazy.
So high that certain people can't even be around you because your energy is so strong. Vibrate so high that anybody that's wishing to do evil upon you, it shall be revealed. Vibrate so high that any evil entity feels uncomfortable in your presence. Vibrate so high.
To your world, it's your boy Cross, Boss Cross, big CEO, man, of Cross Your Heart. Man, y'all go check out the merch. You put in the plug, you get 10% off on your first order. That's at KrossYourHeart.com. But we're going to get into this. So the great state of Texas, Houston, we got a problem. I've never heard of this. So maybe I'm behind or whatnot. But it was a Houston pastor that back in 2016, he started dating this woman. And from there, they started getting intimate within 2 years. Within 2 years, I guess he ended up saying, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take this rub off. Well, on doing that, it cost her her life because he transmitted her a STI, which is herpes, to this woman, which she can never, ever fix. There's no cure, but people can say, oh, they can contain it, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think she asked to get the extra medication. So let's go into what they said or insinuated what this pastor did.
Prominent Houston reverend ordered to pay $2.45 million to a woman that a jury found he gave herpes to.
Tonight, that woman's lawyer is speaking only to our Devin Clark, who's live outside the courthouse where the judgment was granted just this morning. Devin.
Keith, Daniela, that attorney we spoke to, says it was a 3-day trial with 6.5 hours of deliberations. And after that, a jury found Reverend Ralph D. West II liable and ordered that hefty judgment.
Right, it can't fix it. She's got it for the rest of her life.
Attorney.
Ain't that the truth? So she get $2.45 million judgment against the Reverend for spreading the herpes virus to her. This is crazy.
Sean Murphy is speaking for his client, who a jury found contracted genital herpes from Reverend Ralph.
So that's Reverend Ralph D. West II, an Eldridge campus minister. Wow.
D. West II, after meeting off Facebook. As seen here on the Church Without Walls website, he's listed as the Eldridge campus minister.
The things that we look at for cases like these are essentially 4 things. Is the defendant infected, and how can we prove it? Did he know he was infected? And, how do we prove? Do we have evidence of that?
Not only does Murphy say they were able to prove those facts, but also that West lied when asked about having herpes and that he gave it to his client after they had unprotected sex in March of 2018.
So let's go back. So this is what they're saying. During this time, parties had extensive communications and conversation regarding morals, values, principles, Christian beliefs, relationships, and sexual intimacy. Plaintiff made clear to defendant that she believed in the expected honesty, truthfulness, and transparency relationship. Plaintiff also made it clear to the defendant that because of these foundational principles, she did not date much and was also overly protective of her health and well-being. During these communications and conversations, defendant repeatedly represented that he was a man of God, that he shared the same fundamental belief in honesty, truth, and transparency, that he had been tested in the past, and that he was free and clean of any sexual transmitted disease. Man, he's straight lying. Boy, he wrong.
So
boy.
that West lied when asked about having herpes, and that he gave it to his client after they had unprotected sex in March of 2018.
She got an outbreak 2 or 3 days later, went in and got tested, and from there able, through the medical records, able to identify that he was the source of it, in part because she hadn't been with anybody else. She had had a prior negative test.
Murphy says subsequent conversations supported the claims.
So let's see what he said in this one right here. After accepting proof that the plaintiff had tested negative for genital herpes in the past and had not had any sexual intercourse with any other individual for at least 2 years prior to meeting defendant admitted to plaintiff that he knew he had genital herpes before meeting plaintiff and that he had been affected by the mother of his son. Man, then why the hell would you give that woman that? And who is your baby mama? Man, your baby mama is out there. She for the streets, and you knew that anyway. You probably ain't no telling where you met that woman at. Let's keep going.
When she asks, where did this come from? His response was his son's mother.
He adds there were also emails between West and his client,
where she accuses him of knowing he had it, of giving it to her, and there's other allegations about not caring about me, that kind of thing.
The response, Murphy says, was telling.
So let's look at this right here. Look at this. Let's see what this clown said. Subsequently, in compounding defendant's concealment and misrepresentation, defendant attempted to intimidate plaintiff to remain silent, both in thought and with physical intimidation. Defendant made suggestions to the plaintiff that the Christians don't take Christians to court. Man, you lying to me. Christians turn the other cheek and forgive. No. Marry me as no other man will want to be with you. That's cold. That's like a low blow. And your family and father will be devastated by the news. Man, he cold-blooded, dog. He heartless. After this point, he wanted her to keep that quiet.
Never once denied that he had it or that he knew he had it.
West declined to comment. Murphy says his client does feel a sense of relief and vindication, but aside from that $2.45 million she was granted, she hopes that this story sends a clear message to anyone who knowingly puts their partner at risk for STDs.
Yeah, I'm glad she did. It's just crazy that my man, okay, so she said that he told her. He said he didn't. So there's a conflict in that anyway. Not only that, shouldn't he be charged with some other crime, like besides being sued? Like it's almost like it's premeditated. I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think. But we're going to get into this part where she actually went on the Isaiah channel, shout out to Fox 26 News, the whole crime files, where she did an interview. All right. She did an interview with the hostess. And she break down how the relationship was, how she met him, and everything. So let's get to that.
Reached out to you on Facebook. Let's start there. What happened?
Yeah, back in 2017, I had received several notifications from him. Some of them were like pokes, things of that nature.
So he was thirsting. He was in the trap, thirsting in the DM. Trying to get at her, and he caught her attention by all those pokes.
I eventually responded, and then, from there, he introduced himself. I didn't know of him. I didn't know of anything that he didn't know of the ministry. And then that's when he told me, he knew he'd been watching me for a while and that he was a fan of mine, and we kind of just conversed and went from there.
Yeah, so just kind of an on.
So this woman right here was a model, and he was a fan of hers. Like what? I mean, of course, I guess she must be from. I don't know. Is she from Texas? Now, y'all tell me in the comments if the woman's from Texas or she moved to Texas or she knew of because if she lived in Houston area, maybe she might have known this church because it was a pretty big church. So I don't know. Let's keep going.
Online back and forth relationship. When did it turn from that into a physical relationship?
So we conversed via social media, I'll say about a month. And then within that month's time, he wanted to exchange and talk more telecommunication, phone,
Yeah.
So from just the social media, we ended up having telephone conversations, and then from there we started dating, and we dated about 2 years.
And so
so they dated for 2 years. So my man he's playing the game because, of course, she would think, oh my God, he's a great guy. He's dating me. He ain't put no pressure on for me to, to be intimate with him. Yeah, because he's probably debating on, damn, should I mess this woman life up? Like, I know this wrong. He gotta know this is wrong. Morally and all this, he gotta know it.
We're talking, you said you didn't know he was a pastor or anything, but obviously during that time you figured that out and you ended up attending a church service.
Now, see, that's where I'm confused. How did she end up figuring out he was a pastor unless she was going around looking and asking? But she could have just asked him if they was dating that long. Why he never told her that? That's another confusing thing.
Was the fact that he was a man of God, was that part of what drew you to him? Are you strong in your faith?
So I am strong in my faith. My family I came from a very Christian background. I did not know he was a pastor prior to him, reaching out
And everything, yeah.
So we learned about each other over the course of time. I'm used to being in ministry, and so I won't say, that drew me to him because my background is ministry, so I'm not.
That ain't got nothing to do with it. Your background was ministry. You should have had a gift of discernment. Hey, nah, man, come on now, man. You lusting. You was trying to get with my man. You knew he had, to me, again, this is just me. Comment section, y'all can ask me, put in what y'all think, but I don't know. I don't know. Like, so what? You came from a background. Like, so you didn't know he was deceiving you?
Not, it was like what it is.
Yeah.
What it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like it almost gives you like a sense of trust in someone.
Yes.
When you have similar backgrounds and you
Correct.
believe in the same things.
Correct.
And so around that time, like in 2017, is that when you became, the relationship turned sexual? Y'all started having intercourse?
I would say somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. So 2016 when she met. So by 2017, so we don't know if it was the beginning of end of 2016 for a couple of months or whatever. So maybe he might have smashed New Year's. You know what I mean? Somewhere around that time. That's what I'm saying, 2017.
Recall the dates exactly, but yeah.
That's another thing. How you not recall the dates? How you get almost $3 million and you don't recall the dates?
Yeah. And so it was a real relationship. You guys were
we
together.
actually dated, and then from there, yes.
Yeah. And so we do actually have a soundbite from his deposition that he gave. He said that he never recalled having a conversation with you about STIs or any diseases at all. We'll go ahead.
See, that's what I'm saying. So either he's saying they did talk about it, he's saying he didn't in the deposition. So maybe that's what got him, he lost the, I don't know. Let's check it out.
Go ahead and go to that soundbite.
Do you recall whether you told her during the spring of 2017 that you did not have any sexually transmitted diseases?
I don't recall telling her that.
Do you recall her asking you about that?
No.
Okay, so he says that y'all never had the conversation about STIs. Did you have the conversation about STIs?
Yes, we had the conversation. He said he didn't recall. And during that deposition, he almost didn't recall anything. But yes, we definitely, we exchanged morals, we exchanged beliefs, and then we had those conversations.
Yeah, just like any couple does.
Correct.
And I will say you are right about the deposition. I think every question asked, nearly every question asked, he said he didn't recall.
Right, yeah.
He gonna say he don't recall. Because that was, she should have recalled it. She don't recall. She don't recall when they started smashing each other, when he gave her the Bumpy Johnson.
Yeah. So take me to the point where you realized you had contracted an STI.
Okay. So one thing about me, I kind of know my body, you know, and if something within my health is out of the
Yeah, her son must have been jacked up. He might have gave us some other. She was jacked up 2 to 3 days. Yeah, that's when he knew he probably, man, he probably was shooting flames out. He probably had all type because in 2 to 3 days, boom, you turn around and then you find out you got the antibody.
norm, I could pretty pinpoint that.
Yeah.
So after one of our, you know, course of events, I started to notice that something just was not right.
And how long had y'all been like sexually active at this point? Like, had it been a while?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was someone who you really felt like you trusted.
Yeah, it was
and
just him, and
Yeah.
I was in a relationship with him. Yeah.
Yeah, not even a second thought about it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. And so go on. So you
Yeah, so I
started
noticed,
feeling.
yeah, something wasn't right within a matter of days, and so I immediately made an appointment. And while waiting for my appointment, I even informed him, you know, something is just not right, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, she probably said, "Hey, what did you get me? Like, I've got problems. You ain't nothing wrong with you going on now." He like, "No, I'm good." Oh man, he been dealing with that for a while. Ah, that is so nasty.
Just like you would with a boyfriend.
Yeah.
You know.
And so after going to the doctor, they were able to determine by blood work that I was recently exposed and that I had the antibodies in my system.
Wow.
Hero girl, wow. That's what I'm saying. Wow, that is crazy.
What was that like for you? I mean, what was your reaction?
I was blank. I was scared because I didn't know exactly what all come with that. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how it would affect my life. And then I just felt very, you know, shamed, kinda. You know, it was just very uneasy. During that time, I was into modeling, and so just not it. I wasn't a person that had self-esteem issues at all.
Yeah.
So at that
I bet this time it mentally got you messed
during
up.
that little period of time, you know, that did affect me mentally.
I already know it had to affect her mentally. Like, bro, like, what person do that, man? Come on, man. The pastor, you ain't even have to do that woman like that. You know what I'm saying? So either two things, either that was the first time that y'all had unprotected, or that you was messing with this woman and then you was messing with somebody else because he mentioned he got it from his baby mama, his son's mother. So man, y'all protect y'all self. Strap up, man, like we used to say back in the days, man. Don't get caught out here slipping like that, man. It's getting dangerous out here. And that right there, man, for that $2.45 million, cool. But man, that does not get rid of that, would never get rid of that. And she gonna have to use that money or keep her having insurance to pay for the medication for the rest of her life. So on that note, man, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and holler at your boy. Peace.